Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you for stopping by. My name is Infinity, and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course, the law of attraction. Be sure to subscribe to this channel, join our beautiful community of like-minded, conscious, creative beings here on YouTube. And also, I do recommend subscribing so that you get notified not only when I post new content, but also when I post real-time energy updates for twin flames worldwide, which for those of you who are new, I do channel these twin flame readings on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. How to wake up your twin flame. That is what we are talking about in this podcast video. I got the idea for this podcast because I feel as though, especially from the side of us as part of the Divine Feminine Collective, there is this perception of our twin flame, divine masculine counterparts at certain points on this journey as being asleep, as being unawakened, whereas, of course, we see ourselves as being awake, spiritually speaking. And I want to just begin here by kind of turning this whole paradigm on its head here. Because as we know, twin flames are completely energetically intertwined. And this also means that technically on the energy level, we experience these shifts at the same time in connection with one another. This is how we're able to experience things like telepathy with our twin. Because even through forms of 5D communication, such as telepathy, what we are really picking up on is what our twin is transferring us in real time, energetically. So technically speaking, it's not that one twin in the twin flame connection wakes up earlier or later than the other. It's that twin flame counterparts process energies very differently. Specifically, generally speaking, the divine feminine comes to this planet choosing to experience a more spiritually oriented perspective. Very often, this is known as the spiritual twin. It doesn't have to be the divine feminine, but this is the case 90 to 95% or more of the time. And this is how it will resonate for most of you. The more spiritual twin is naturally more open through what we consider to be the more spiritually connected chakra centers. So the divine feminine will have a natural intuitive ability, even prior to experiencing a conscious twin flame path, meaning even prior to her spiritual awakening, the divine feminine will always have this ability to intuit, to be able to give advice to others, to channel information about others or about life, even if she doesn't realize she's doing this. Also, she will naturally be more interested, more drawn to spiritual concepts and ideas. Again, this is because the upper chakras are typically more open for the spiritual twin, which is most often the divine feminine, meaning that specifically the crown chakra, connecting us with the divine, the third eye chakra, of course, connecting with our intuition, and even the throat chakra, her ability to communicate. Very often, this is also why the divine feminine will tend to be able to verbalize what she is feeling and verbalize her experiences energetically and emotionally in this twin flame connection earlier on in the physical 3D process than the divine masculine. Because in contrast, the divine masculine tends to be more open through the lower chakra centers, but more closed off through the higher chakra centers. So essentially, he's taking the perspective that is facing opposite the divine feminine. This is so often the case where, although twin flames are mirror souls, a mirror shows you your inverse reflection. So very often you will find that between yourself and your twin, there are these inverse reflections where certain things about you almost look like polarity, almost look like polar opposites. It's the polarity that exists in all of nature. The very reason twin flames themselves exist, because of this very polarity that exists in all of the universe, the male, female, the dark and light, the shadows and the light within ourselves as well. But anyway, the divine masculine being more open through these lower chakras, the root chakra, the sacral chakra, the solar plexus, which, by the way, I just want to note this here, but just because I'm saying that these counterparts tend to be more open initially through these chakra centers absolutely does not mean that they don't store blocks in those chakras. It's simply that they are slightly more open in those, what we could think of as places, spaces within the energy body. However, we do, as twin flames, tend to take on a lot of wounding through all 7 chakra centers for the purpose of transmuting it, healing it. So regardless of where one twin is more open than the other, there will still be healing work to do. And I absolutely do not want to discredit that. But very often, because of the way the divine masculine is more open through these lower chakra centers initially, he may be coming from a more logical, a more grounded, a more physically oriented perspective. He's sometimes even referred to as the Matrix twin from the movie The Matrix, but really just saying that he's more plugged into this physical lifetime and 3D reality as it is taken in through the 5 physical senses. He's not as connected through those higher senses, that 6th sense, if you will. Now, because of this, whereas the divine feminine may consciously realize earlier on that this is a spiritual path, this is a highly spiritual and divine connection, the divine masculine may feel more of the pull to the divine feminine earlier on through some of those lower chakra centers. So it may be a more grounded kind of feeling of pull. He might feel more of a conscious kind of physical attraction or pull to her, but he might be closed off as to communicating that because all of those upper chakras are more blocked for this matrix twin, for usually the masculine twin, meaning that the throat chakra, the third eye chakra, the intuition, and the crown chakra, the divine, all of this is more closed for the masculine. So whereas he will still feel the pull, especially the physical attraction, the masculine will feel this very, very strongly. Of course, the feminine will as well, but the masculine feels it very, very intensely. However, he may have more difficulty either accepting what he is feeling. He might be in a state of denial about the very pull he is feeling to the feminine. He may not be able to verbalize what he is feeling because of being more blocked through the throat chakra. And it may take him longer to fully consciously realize that this is a twin flame connection, that this is a spiritual connection. So when we talk about waking up our twin flame, I guess the title of this video was a little bit misleading, a little bit clickbaity, because the truth is your twin flame is already awakening. If you are here and if you are listening to this podcast, you are a twin flame and you are conscious that you're on a twin flame path. because of your energetic interconnectedness with your twin, regardless of what they are saying or doing or not saying or not doing in the physical, they are awakening. They are in the process of awakening. They are just most likely approaching this energetic clearing from the opposite end of the polarity, whereas you most likely are coming at it from more of the higher chakra centers here, meaning that you are more naturally able to grasp the spiritual truth and significance of this connection and see it clearly and verbalize it. The masculine is absolutely still awakening, still processing this energy, still feeling the pull, but just coming at it through the lower chakra centers from the other direction. And of course, the most beautiful thing about this is, where do you meet? If one comes from the root chakra up and one comes from the crown chakra down, well, of course, naturally, you are meeting together at the heart center, which is so beautiful. And also part of the reason that the heart center for twin flames is the most active center, energetically speaking, within twin flame connection. And I actually have a separate podcast video today on how to know your twin flame is opening their heart. So if the concept of this heart chakra activity is resonating with you, then be sure to explore that podcast as well. But with that being said, this conversation, it's not so much about waking up your twin flame, because again, they are already awakening. They're just approaching this awakening from a different perspective than you. And with that knowing, the true question here is, how can I, as my twin flames counterparts, energetically support and assist my twin flame in their naturally unfolding awakening process? So basically, if we're going to sum up the theme on how to truly catalyze and continue to catalyze, to speed up essentially your twin flames' continued energy clearing, resulting in their continued awakening, because as we clear our energy, that is actually what allows us to raise our vibration to higher levels of consciousness that we then refer to as a more awakened state of being, because we have a higher vibration, because we are more conscious. So the first step is to rise, and the second step is to hold the space. And if we could really understand those two terms, rise and hold the space, that would be really the master key to allowing this twin flame awakening process to not only unfold, but opening ourselves energetically, creating the kind of energetic environment within us that actually allows our twin to awaken as quickly as possible, of course, in the divine timing of our connection. Mainly when we don't do these two things, when we do not rise and we do not hold the space, we actually inhibit our twin flame from fully awakening to their true potential, from truly rising into their full-blown conscious knowing and acknowledgement of the twin flame connection. So, what do I mean by rising? Rising is essentially continuing the natural and beautiful and endless expansion of yourself, releasing fear, releasing doubts around your potential, around your dreams, around yourself, and allowing yourself to truly be the limitless being that you came to this planet to be. Now, this isn't something we can really check off a list. This is more so a way of being. And it's also not about achieving. It's not about achieving a specific material goal. This is about continuing to choose to fully show up for yourself, to support yourself, support your goals and dreams, and importantly, to release anything that is preventing you from continuing to rise into that space of total self-empowerment. So what'll happen is, as you continue this rise to becoming more and more everything that you have ever dreamed yourself to be, everything that you've envisioned for yourself in your life, you will naturally, because we're human, come up against these blocks and barriers and limiting beliefs. And the key here is, whenever that happens, rather than taking those negative emotions and projecting them outward or trying to stuff them down, whether this is trying to numb them out through self-sabotaging behaviors or coping mechanisms, or projecting them outward by perhaps placing the blame on our twin flame, or saying they are making me feel this way, or they are the reason that I am going through this experience. It's about really turning inward and addressing those blocks and barriers at the core, at the roots. And I know this is a lot easier said than done. I could do so many videos on this, and I hope that through the continuous creation of these videos and even of the readings that I create, I can assist you in that process over time, because it really, really is a process, an ongoing process. But I do have one specific deep level energy clearing tool that I would like to share with you, and this is my 7 chakra twin flame clearing subliminal. I do create several subliminal meditations for twin flames, and I actually have 100, really now closer to 140 subliminals for all areas of life, and all of these are available to members on my website, soundandsoulful.com. So as you can see on the screen, I am just showing you a little bit around the website. This is where you can see all the different categories of subliminals, and subliminals are so powerful because they actually bypass the conscious filter of the mind and sink to the deeper levels of our subconscious, which is so significant because it's actually the subconscious that controls 95% of our thoughts, actions, and outcomes in life. This is also a beautiful way to go about clearing our energy field on a daily basis as twin flames, really allowing that open, free flow of energy between ourselves and our twin through this awakening process by releasing any blocks to unconditional love that we ourselves could be storing or contributing to through the programs we've absorbed into the subconscious mind. So more information on this twin flame 7 chakra clearing subliminal is in the pinned comment and description box under this video. You can try it out completely free for 7 days by creating a free trial account on my website, which again is soundandsoulful.com. So regardless of what tools or resources you are using, it is really essential to find a way to allow yourself to continue rising into your total self-empowerment and beginning to, especially for those of you who connect as the divine feminine, to get into that receiving state where you're allowing yourself to effortlessly receive, no longer feeling the need to push or chase or overwork yourself in your life, but to truly become magnetic for love, for abundance in all forms in your life. And really, again, that's much easier said than done. There is a lot that goes into that, and it's really an ongoing journey that I know many of you listening here are on, as well as myself. We are really all in this journey together. But as we are rising in this way, the second essential piece to this equation is to hold the space. Holding the space has been coming up a lot in my recent twin flame readings. And the reason is, as the divine feminine, we pick up these wounded feminine programs from society that tell us that we need to be the fixer, that get us in this very codependent kind of mindset where we over self-sacrifice ourselves in order to get back love or validation or approval from either the other person or from society generally, because it's how we think we are supposed to behave within these relationships. And as twin flames, we are really here to bring down this brand new paradigm of love and connection, a love based on unconditions, a love based on freedom, both freeing oneself and allowing the other to be free, but in freedom, choosing the self. And in twin flame connection, the choosing of the self is also the choosing of the other, because we share the same energy field with our twin flame. So holding the space is about not allowing yourself to slip back into those programs of fear, of anxiety and doubt that may motivate you or push you to act out of fear, to say or do things, or to even lower your standards in regards to love, relationship, what you deserve, in order to get some kind of an outcome. And this even includes a concept of physical reunion. And what I mean by that is, one way that this can play out is when we are afraid that if we don't lower our standard in regards to how we deserve to be treated, if we don't try to push or force this connection into being, or force our twin to see the connection and to be with us, there is this fear there that our twin flame will leave us, that we will be abandoned, or that we won't be reunited. And so the fear is motivating the action, and that is really creating this kind of suffocating energy. Is a strong word, but it's the closest word I can find. It causes this kind of claustrophobia in our connection that actually creates this kind of pushing effect on our twin, which not only actually pushes them away, because what they're really feeling and reacting to is the pushback against ourselves, refusing to raise our standard to what we are really worth because of this fear. And so our twin reacts to that fear, and then we perpetuate this cycle of feeling as though our twin isn't waking up, as feeling like they are running, when in reality, what we're really being called to here is, again, to rise and then to hold the space, to hold our standard for what we know we are worth, for what we know we deserve in love and relationship, twin flame connection included, and then to stand in our power, confidently reaching a place of peace within ourselves, feeling happy with our own inner world, and as a result of that, attracting things that bring us joy in our external world as well, including people, connections. For some, this could even be conscious romantic connections as well. It's all about your free will and what you choose that you desire to do or to have or to connect with along this journey. For others, this could be being happy, being by themselves, standing on their own, feeling confident and strong and independent. But regardless, the key here is that we are not lowering our standards in regards to what we know that we are worth, simply because we are conscious of the fact that this is our twin flame, that this is our twin soul. In fact, really, even more so within a twin flame connection, there has to be that focus on the self, because our twin flame is inherently intertwined with our own energy, and our love for self is inherently intertwined with the love our twin feels from us and then expresses to us. So I really hope this podcast was helpful. I hope it brought you some kind of clarity along this journey. As I mentioned before, I will be leaving a link to more information about my 7-chakra twin flame clearing subliminal. There are also a lot of other subliminals that could assist you along your path, and you can even combine them into your own personal private playlists. And all of that is available to you when you sign up for a free trial account on my website, which again is soundandsoulful.com. Otherwise, please be sure to subscribe if you haven't yet. You can follow me on Instagram at Magnetize Yourself, and I hope you have a truly beautiful rest of your day.